What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for the Manchester City 3-1 win over Bournemouth match analysis. We're going to crack on with this video. We're going to start off first with the team news. Interesting from Pep making as many as 5 changes. I was expecting only to be 2 or 3 because I was a bit concerned over a bit of disjointment in the team. We'll get on to that in a moment. But Danilo came in for Kyle Walker. We saw Zinchenko starting ahead of Fabian Delph again, like we did against Lyon away as well from midweek. Gundogan returned. We saw Jesus and Bernardo Silva also go in as David Silva got a much deserved rest. I had a feeling that Fernandinho might not see out 90 minutes, but he did. I'm expecting him to get a break at some point. I'm not too sure when that's coming. We've got a big game against Watford away, a difficult away game. We've got a match against Chelsea away then. Maybe he might start in them 2 games and maybe get substituted at some point and then end up having a week-long rest as we go in. I think it's... Is it Hoffenheim? Yeah, a Hoffenheim game where he might get a rest next week. I don't know, and get a full 7 days and have maybe another 7 days after that because we've got Carabao Cup action against Leicester. I'm not too sure, but we're in that rotation period now. We're into December. The games are going to come thick and fast. We know how it is. So it's going to be quite difficult now with players getting chopped and changed. That things are always going to look a bit disjointed, so we need to make sure that we're on our game. We saw Otamendi return too for Manchester City in this game. We also saw Sergio Aguero having a full rest, not even in the squad, which I thought was dangerous, not putting him on the bench, but it turns out he's had a slight strain, which has ruled him out of this game. I'm not too sure if he'll be available for Tuesday. I imagine he will, because I don't think it's that serious. I was hoping Jesus would have a better game in this game to maybe allow Sergio Aguero to have a full recovery. However, I don't think Jesus had too great a game in this game. So we'll have to see on Tuesday. Keeps things interesting on who will start up front, but Sergio Aguero certainly will be back for the match against Chelsea. De Bruyne and that will have team news up in the previews for the games against Watford and Chelsea going on, so we might have further updates on them, so stay tuned for that. For Bournemouth, they went with King as expected and Wilson up front. 2 quick players that like to cause a lot of problems, and so from there quite clear how Bournemouth were going to approach the game. So into the game, first 15 minutes, not too much happened. Kind of both teams sussing each other out. 16 minutes in though, Leroy Sane, he gets clattered by Begovic and ends up falling nicely for Bernardo Silva and just to smash the ball in and make it 1-0. A lovely deep ball across from Zinchenko too. Zinchenko first half, in terms of his passing and building things and making things happen, fantastic. I'm a bit iffy on his defending. I know he's not a left back, but I just don't think defending's his strong point, and when you put up against it, you'll find it difficult. And I don't think, no disrespect to Bournemouth here, but I don't think Pep was expecting Bournemouth to have as much of a go as what they did in this game, and it caused a lot of problems, particularly when Bournemouth had that little purple patch of the last 10 minutes in the first half. But from there, City looked a little bit tired. They had a lot of possession, passing it around, but not really doing anything with it. They was trying to work the ball to Sane and Sterling to make things happen, but it weren't really working. Bournemouth ended up taking control of the game and ended up forcing Man City back. Like I said, last 10 minutes of the first half, they were completely on top, and we looked very tired, we looked very leggy, we looked disjointed. I don't know where the midfield control was, but it certainly wasn't there. I felt like it was missing our 2 Silvas in the middle, just having Bernardo Silva and no David Silva, having Gundogan that's only just come back from injury there, and Fernandinho sitting in front, and Danilo weren't getting involved in the game, and so we're struggling a little bit, it is fair to say, and Bournemouth were getting more than enough opportunities in City's final third. Callum Wilson ended up missing a beautiful ball in from King. He nearly got his toe onto it to divert it past Ederson. Ederson had to be very patient and wait for the ball to fall to him to be able to then, it's not a save, but be able to intercept the ball and move City forward, because honestly any touch from Wilson there would have been 1-1. I think there's also another chance for Wilson where there's a nice block from Otamendi, and then finally, 44 minutes in, Francis was able to put a ball in to find Callum Wilson, who got a lovely header in, a little bit of poor defending from Otamendi there, losing his mark. And Ederson ends up getting not fingertips, he ended up getting kind of hand onto it, ended up going into the net. And disappointing, I was hanging on in there. I wanted to head to half-time and get in 1-0 and be able to regroup. Instead it went in at 1-1. And more than deserved from Bournemouth there. To be honest, I felt maybe it was a little bit lucky not to go in behind, but take nothing away. Great header from Callum Wilson, much deserved from Bournemouth. And Bournemouth have been ecstatic. 1-1 at half-time at the Etihad. And I had a few feelings from the game, if I'm honest, particularly at half-time. I felt like we'd made too many changes. I felt that was one from the management, from Pep there, making 5 changes. It's a lot of changes in a Premier League game, from a midweek game in the Champions League to the high intensity of a Premier League game. It's a lot of changes to make. I can understand squad rotation, 2-3 games. I'd only go with 2-3 changes per game. If you want some players to have a rest, change 2 or 3 players. In the next game, change 2 or 3 players. The next game, make 1 or 2 changes. And then the next game, make 2 or 3 changes like that. But to make as many as 5, nearly half the team, it is a lot of players. And it ended up making us look a little bit like a daisical in the game. We weren't getting involved, particularly in the first half, and I described it, I put it on Twitter. It was like a Carabao Cup match where City were playing in the first half, and everything looked a little bit slow and disjointed. They didn't know what they were doing. They got the goal and then a bit of complacency hit, and it's taken the management to come in at half time, assess things, to make things happen. I've seen it time and time and time again at Manchester City. Like I said, it normally happens in cup games, Carabao Cup games. I've seen it in the FA Cup before last season against Burnley at home too. I've seen it time and time again for it to happen. So I was looking for City to have a response, and I was concerned because this weren't a cup game, this was a competitive Premier League game against a very good Bournemouth side, and I was concerned that if Bournemouth could end up repeating, having another purple patch in the second half where they can get on top and put Man City's defence under pressure, that they may well concede again. Couldn't afford to be dropping points in this game. I'm sure Bournemouth wished it was full time, obviously, but went into the second half. Was a lot better. 57 minutes in, Danilo getting a lot more involved in the game, had a low shot, well saved from Begovic. Jesus couldn't tap it in. Raheem Sterling was backing him up though and ended up smacking it into the roof of the net for 2-1, much to my relief. And from there, we controlled the game, we dictated the game and was making things happen. Bournemouth looked like they'd ran out of steam. 79 minutes in, Leroy Sane finding all kinds of space in the second half. He was, squares the ball across, there's Gundogan there, ready just to tap it in, and does, kills the game. 3-1, ends up being job done from the game. And Leroy Sane, Raheem Sterling and Danilo ended up being a lot more involved in the game, Gundogan too, and so it ended up making the difference. We've got control of the midfield, managed to work the ball out wide, and instead of Bournemouth forcing us back, we managed to force them back, and fairly decent. I was concerned over Zinchenko. I thought he might have had a little injury, but it turns out he had some kind of face injury from, I think it was Fernandinho making a challenge in a header, and I think he got an elbow or something, and Delph came on, and I thought Fabian Delph did fine when coming on, so I'd like to see Fabian Delph in the next game against Watford at left back, if we're going to go with a left back. Who knows with Pep these days, but like I said, job done. I'll take that every day of the week. We'll have a look at some stats now and see how they compare. I have a feeling that City are probably going to be dominating the attacking, and Bournemouth might dominate the defensive bits like blocks and that. But yeah, City end up having 73% possession in this game to Bournemouth's 27, so decent amount of possession. 16 shots to Bournemouth's 4, just 1 on target and it's gone in. That's disappointing. We had 6 on target, 3 have gone away. Not too bad. Not our clinical best like it was against Lyon, but still not too bad. We ended up having 786 passes, a 91% pass completion rate. That's standard for Manchester City. We'll come to expect that. 283 passes from Bournemouth, 74% pass completion rate. Not too bad from Bournemouth, but you know, I'd say that's about right for a Manchester City home game when we're trying to work with the ball and have dominated the ball and having possession and passing things around. Created 2 clear-cut chances to Bournemouth's 1. Bournemouth obviously managed to put theirs away. Manchester City ended up having 16 crosses connecting with 4. They had 8 crosses connecting with just 1, so both not really that great in the air. Like I said, Bournemouth do like to play out from the back and like to pass it around and run at teams. So he had more corners, twice as many actually, 8 to their 4, and we ended up making just more recoveries than them too. We ended up having more tackles, more interceptions. They had more blocks like I predicted. They've had more clearances too, and more headed clearances, and aerial duels. Bournemouth ended up having the same amount as City, but Bournemouth ended up winning more aerial duels, so the defence a lot better in the air than what Manchester City's were. But all in all, not too bad from Bournemouth. I was expecting maybe Manchester City, once we got control at 1-0, to maybe dictate the game. We didn't, and fair credit to Bournemouth, they managed to put us under a lot of pressure. Wilson being exceptional for them, King was making things happen too. Good ball in from Francis too for the goal, for the assist, and a beautiful header for Bournemouth. Another loss though, another loss on the road. They're starting to get through their games now, starting to sit in nicely into the top half. However, I'm sure they'd have probably been looking at what, 7th place, 6th place, looking at Everton and Manchester United, but starting to fade away that now. But if they can find a bit of form from now till the new year, you never know. For City, poor first half, complacent once we've gone 1-0 up, a lot better in the second half. Sane, Sterling, Danilo, Gundogan all ended up being a lot better in the second half. Close for man of the match. Sterling was making some great runs, nearly scored a nice goal that hit the post too from a deflection. He's got my man of the match just ahead of Leroy Sane. He was influential, Leroy Sane was, in this game, I thought, particularly in the second half, but Sterling just edged it in my opinion. Would I go with them two? I'm not too sure. Like I said, 2 or 3 changes I'd be making for the game against Watford. Maybe one of them will fall out of place and it might be Riyad Mahrez coming in, but 3 points is 3 points. We're top of the table. We're putting pressure now on everyone else below us, on Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, even if you want to consider them a threat too. But they've got pressure on them. We've now gone 5 points clear of Liverpool. We're 8 points clear of Tottenham at the moment. They're under pressure. They need wins because they know if they don't win, City are at least 4 points clear of Liverpool. So Liverpool needing a win in the Merseyside derby tomorrow. We've put pressure on them. Over to them, not to us. We're going to move on. Watford away Tuesday. We'll have a preview up for that on Monday, so stay tuned for that. So there we go. That's been the match analysis. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget, let me know in the comments what you thought, what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, what do you think I can improve on. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We're aiming for 2,000 subscribers before the year's out. It would be absolutely fantastic if we could hit that, so make sure you subscribe, press the bell, put your push notifications on, and you'll be notified when I've uploaded. Social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you all again very soon for the next Manchester City preview up on Monday. So I'll see you then. Go and enjoy the weekend blues. Go and enjoy the 3 points, because I certainly will. And I'll see you all again for that preview. So it's been JSGC. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.